Hi guys, my name is Varodante, and welcome back to Overpaint. Today's patient is Tomislav Arts, and their Pokémon artwork. Hey Boro, I wanted to hear your opinion on this Mewtwo painting I recently did. I'm a big fan of your work and videos, but also a professional artist myself. But my work never involves any kind of painting. Last time was 5 years ago. That's a lot. It's mostly cel-shaded cartoony stuff, as I work in the game development industry and animating paintings is not worth the effort, as you might understand. As an art director, I get to draw over many artworks, but I've never had someone break down my own artwork, and I would love to hear your critiques. Shameless plug, my Instagram is jtomislav. Never miss a chance to promote yourself. So this is really sick. Right away I'm gonna say that there's a second submission, another Pokemon. I think his name is Pikachu. Right, so I really like this submission. First of all, because it's just really cool looking. And secondly, this is a huge challenge. Will I be able at all to make anything look better? Let's find out. So I'm right away starting with references simply because the composition and pretty much everything, like, I don't get to change much there. What I will change is lighting. I'll make it more realistic just because I can, and I think it will improve some dynamic factor of this artwork. So we'll do that part definitely. I gotta say, I really love the dynamics. I know this is far from official artwork, but this dynamics of the legs on Mewtwo. It's really cool. I loved this for a while. Like, this is such a recognizable and special kind of mess it has with the legs. It's really cool. And it's kind of a broken dynamics here. Like, we need to search it a bit, but generally the top part of the torso is noticeably like bigger. The shape of the character kind of implies to be like a bit more like that, like the very heavy bottom part. So I think I'll try to do that and change a little bit the way the like details of the anatomy work out. I think this stuff is a bit too high. Yeah, like this stuff, it's always exactly on the level where the legs start. So this thing should be like here. And this top thing that was transformed into just anatomical chest muscles, I would make it look more like what it is in the original, like it's more of a special layer on top of the body a little bit, not just the muscles. It actually transforms into like this thing over here, and I would make it a bit lower and making the belly lower. But really, these all are just small things. Also, I'm not sure if it'll work out, but the legs should like bend backwards, so maybe this will look okay if we do it like that. So we'll see. Let's keep that in mind and start. Of course, I'll also be fixing the lighting. I'll try to make the casual light on the main part of the body a bit toned down to emphasize the strong light from electric charges on the hands, so it will look a lot more dynamic like that. A little bit. We still need a bit more light on the main part. It looks really good. It's a good decision to do that. And in here, I'll emphasize a bit more, like if it will be lower, we'll need to like work with this and this as the spots for this light hitting this spherical area and this one. Combined all together, it will be a complex, realistic, and cool lighting. So let's start. Alright, so doing okay so far. Brought back some of the original design elements. The beginning of the tail is lower. The third tit is over here as well. I don't know what that is. It's just a bone sticking out between, kind of like a chest horn a little bit. Now I want to work more on the legs and fix the shape of the eyes a little bit. I kind of like it more in these, I assume, official pieces of artwork. And yeah, the nose, I kind of changed it quite a bit. Right now it looks a bit too narrow. I'll make it a bit wider so it would look more recognizable. Right now it's a bit too spiky, but that's what I'm gonna do. And I'll just gonna continue applying more of this dynamic hardcore lighting. I'll make it a bit softer to make a bit of a rich look and, well, solve this area a bit better. But first, the legs and the eyes. Alright, the tail is probably the last thing I'll be doing. So I'm just making the light work with the lightning from this hand. And bringing it closer to the colors of this stuff, because it's supposed to be the same thing. Initially, it doesn't even read that well that these two parts are the same thing, because the colors are just so different. Okay, this is it. This is what I ended up having. Of course, it's pretty rough around the edges, but this is the point of Paintover. So yeah, you guys tell me what you think. Did I manage to make anything better at all? Like, I think at least the legs, my opinion, they weren't really fitting to the character of Mewtwo. Like, really manly and a bit breaking the dynamics of the body of the, like, original character. So this feels a lot more like Mewtwo with these kind of legs. So yeah, on the realistic part of it, as Tomislav was asking about pretty much how to improve the realistic aspect of the artwork. Really, what I did was the same thing I always do, and in here it really, I think it really helped to push the artwork further, is I was really thinking about where the lights are, and I translated that into the values on the image. So I was analyzing each shape, and I was thinking like what was facing the light source, what was facing away. One tricky part that was especially like a bit wonky in the original here is too harsh of a shading on the muscles. They are very big, and like this character obviously had very muscly legs, but generally like mine also has very muscly legs, but what's different is the way these muscles react to the light. The trickiest part is over here. You want to like show the a certain difference in lighting between the muscles, like when they curve away, they get darker. So what you usually want to do is like make it a much darker here and here. But thing is, overall, the cylinder of the leg in this spot is mostly just facing the light source. And that curvature that muscles give, it's not that strong to actually go with like such deep and really dark shadows over here. Like this is really strong, like it's crazy, like there's two legs and not one. So in here, even if the curvature is pretty strong, the light is still over here, like it's not gonna give such a strong shadow. So yeah, I pretty much chose these two lights and went ahead with that, and it worked really well with the whole dynamics and the ability to create the strong Terminator on the face, which looks really cool and dynamic. In here it became less strong because light sources are right in front of it, so they're kind of covering each other a little bit. This light source and this surface, they're kind of like not like this communicating to each other, but like this. So it's in front of it, and therefore the light spot is gonna be from the front and in here as well. That's why this overlap doesn't give us too strong of a Terminator in between the light sources. So yeah, that's what I had to say on Mewtwo. Honestly, in the beginning I had no idea how to start with this at all, but yeah, little by little, just going with the same old trick of solving the lighting and using references. I used actual references for the legs. I didn't do a lot of justice to the arms though, like the muscles, I didn't really, like I wasn't looking for references, I didn't really change the muscles on the arms that much. But yeah, like this part, I'm really, like, I'm happy with whatever is going on here. And the new eyes, I think they kind of read a bit better as the original character. This one has like a bit of a foreign nose to this character, I think. The nose and the eyes are a bit not super recognizable. Overall, the skin of the character looks a bit metallic, but I kind of chose that as an artistic trick to make the picture a bit more dynamic. So yeah, obviously I have no time to work on Pikachu. And honestly, Pikachu's artwork is a lot more lighthearted, like it's not that dynamic or whatever. I'll just say a couple of things that I would change. One thing is definitely, like, the first thing I look at it, immediately I want to remove this tree in the back. It's so static, and it's so just squeezed into, like, this tangent with the arm. It's so unpleasant, like I want to get rid of it immediately. So remove that and maybe make like a dynamic shape of the grassy field that we have over here and more like go with that. Then also I would probably make some areas a bit darker in here. Like this part is really annoying to me because we really lose the character's silhouette in many parts. And really there's not a lot of reason to that because at the bottom we could really use some shadows. Like in here we have all kind of rim lighting, that's why the character is brighter than the background. Or it's just crazily glowing all over the background, really. But in this case, we have this very static and nice scene, so why not go with just light from the top, dark from the bottom scenario to have the natural, realistic skylight, and this way we'll save Pikachu's silhouette all over the picture. Like that foot immediately feels so much better because we can actually see it. So yeah, little things here and there. Usually it's just more attention to the detail of lighting. Not like detail of things, like what you would add to the picture, but more about the things that are already there. What is their shape exactly, and how exactly it would react to the current lighting. But overall, this is a really cool picture, I really like it. And yeah, same as like in here as well a little bit, even with such a light and nice scene, like it's only partially dynamic, and here literally half of the picture is dynamic, but still, like even here, what's lacking is the contact shadows. This is something I added a lot in the Mewtwo artwork as well. It's just these parts, like where objects touch each other really closely, that's where you shouldn't be afraid to add really strong strong shadow. It's just gonna be very tiny. Like in here, it's pretty much everywhere I just added it. So in between the fingers here, or the toes, in between the foot and the body, torso, underneath the tongue, it's also touching and also curving away. The tip of the tongue is curving away. And of course in here as well, like this is the curvature of the face. It should show. Like this curvature. I really like drawing grids to show what I'm talking about. So yeah, these little things immediately bring so much more definition to just what we're looking at. Like without it, like such a vague chin and such a vague foot. Two things that are like a real problem. And on the right side, where there's so much rim light, pretty much white contours, that's a much better situation because I assume it's easier for Tomislav to work with contours because of all the cartoonish background. So yeah, overall like this, like I'm not gonna go through this artwork all the way, but I think these little tricks, especially like paying attention to the curvature of objects and the context shadows. The context shadows specifically, let me show it right here. Like in here, I wasn't afraid to make a strong shadow, or in here, also there was like a reflected light from this violet to this surface, worked out pretty well. These contact shadows in between the eyebrows over here, armpits always going really dark when the arm is really pressed to the torso. So yeah, this is it. Thank you Tomislav Arts for your submission, or 2 submissions. This was a lot of fun and quite challenging. This was interesting. Hope I managed to give some good advice. If any of you guys want me to overpaint your picture like this, the link to my Patreon page is in the end of this video. You become my patron, go to the community feed and submit your picture with the description, and I will read the description and overpaint the picture. But for now, I thank you for watching if you did. I guess I did if you're here. Leave a like and subscribe, tell a friend, charge, do whatever you want, and I will see you... Oops. And I will see you in the next one. Bye! Really cool stuff. Never thought of like painting Pokemons in this kind of setup, like making them look really cool and awesome, dynamic. Looks really cool.